Tourists call it Dracula's castle, but what they don't know is more chilling than any fiction. The legend of Dracula has been around for centuries, and with it comes many stories of vampires, blood drinking, and of course the prince who started it all, Vlad the Impaler, the infamous figure behind the Dracula legend. History tells us that Vlad was a ruthless ruler who did some truly horrific things during his time. So much so that people still tell stories of him today, almost 600 years later. But could he really have used Bran Castle as an escape route after being staked? Or is this just another made-up story to attract tourists? We'll let you decide. First, we need to go over the history of the castle itself. It's believed that construction on Bran Castle began sometime during the reign of King Otto II of Germany, and by 1377, the castle had already been built. However, over the next few decades, it changed hands several times until it finally came under the rule of Vlad III. During his time, the castle became a favorite vacation spot for royalty, and it was here that Vlad is said to have entertained guests, such as King Matthias Corvinus of Hungary. At the time, the castle consisted of a number of buildings, including a palace, chapel, courtyard, and even stables. The structure was surrounded by high walls and protected by a moat, which made it virtually impenetrable. In fact, the castle remained in good condition throughout the years and is still standing today. That is quite impressive considering that it's more than 600 years old. However, it wasn't only royalty who enjoyed the comforts of Bran Castle. Peasants were also permitted to live within its grounds, and they paid rent to the owner by providing food, such as wine and livestock. The owner of the castle at the time was required to protect the peasants from harm, and in return, they were expected to provide him with military service when needed. However, with the rise of new weapons and tactics, medieval castles became less effective at providing protection, and many nobles, including the owner of Bran Castle, abandoned their homes in favor of safer accommodations. By the early 1800s, the castle had fallen into disrepair and was little more than a crumbling ruin. It was around this time that rumors began circulating about a secret passageway that led from the castle to a nearby forest. Legend has it that this tunnel was used by Vlad the Impaler himself, after he was staked and left for dead. According to the story, Vlad was able to escape his attackers thanks to a secret passageway that led from his bedroom directly into the forest. There he changed into a wolf and ran for his life. To this day, locals in the area tell stories of hearing strange howls coming from the castle at night, and many believe that these are the cries of Vlad as he transforms into a wolf. Of course, there is no evidence to support this claim, but that hasn't stopped people from believing in the legend. However, despite the castle's dark reputation, it didn't take long for someone to move in. In 1920, Queen Marie of Romania purchased Bran Castle and began restoring it to its former glory. She saw the potential of the castle and wanted to turn it into a museum that would attract tourists from around the world. Under her supervision, the castle was renovated and opened to the public in 1936. Since then, it has become one of Romania's most popular tourist destinations. Today, visitors can explore the castle's many rooms and learn about its rich history. One of the most popular exhibits is the torture chamber, where visitors can see replicas of the instruments used to punish those who broke the law or the king's orders. These include devices such as the rack, where victims were stretched out before being broken on the wheel. There is also the Judas cradle, which was used to slowly lower victims into a pit, sometimes alive, sometimes not. And finally, there was the executioner's block, where traitors and enemies of the state were publicly put to death. Of course, none of these instruments were actually used at Bran Castle, but they helped to create an atmosphere of fear and intrigue that makes the castle so fascinating. But perhaps the most famous exhibit at Bran Castle is the dungeon, where Vlad the Impaler is said to have imprisoned his victims. Legend has it that Vlad chained people to the walls and forced them to listen to the screams of those he was torturing upstairs. It was also rumored that he hosted feasts in the dungeon, inviting local nobles and clergy to join him for a night of drinking and debauchery. While there's no evidence to support these claims, they make for a great story and add to the castle's notoriety. As if the torture chamber and dungeon weren't enough, Bran Castle also has a number of other creepy features. For example, visitors can explore the castle's armory, where they'll find an array of weapons from different eras, including swords, shields, and even catapults. There's a cool wax museum here with famous figures, or notorious figures from Romanian history, such as Vlad the Impaler himself. Of course, these figures are meant to be scary, but they also provide an interesting glimpse into the past. In addition to the castle's creepy exhibits, visitors can also explore its beautiful gardens. Despite the darkness that surrounds Bran Castle, there's a certain charm to the grounds that's hard to resist. Visitors can stroll through the manicured lawns and admire the colorful flowers and trees that surround the castle. It's a peaceful setting that's perfect for a relaxing walk, but it's hard not to feel like you're being watched. After all, this is the same place where Vlad the Impaler is said to have imprisoned and tortured his victims. Despite the castle's creepy reputation, it remains one of Romania's most popular tourist destinations. In fact, It's estimated that around 600,000 people visit Bran Castle each year. That's more than double the population of Romania. Of course, most visitors come to see the castle's famous exhibits and learn about its rich history. But others come because they're fascinated by the legends that surround it. Whether you believe in vampires or not, there's something undeniably eerie about Bran Castle, and that's what keeps people coming back for more. Now, it's time to hear from you. Do you think Vlad the Impaler used the Dracula trap to escape his attackers? Or is this just a legend created to attract tourists? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And while you're there, be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. Thanks for watching.